Robert Stone, an American novelist, once said, "If you couldn't tell the difference between what hurt and what didn't, you have no business being alive." In the same way, if you can't tell the difference between developmental disabilities and mental illnesses, it will be nearly impossible for you to advocate for them successfully. We are First Choice Family Services, and in this video, we'll be showing you the 3 differences between developmental disabilities and mental illnesses. But before that, if you find this content valuable, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. What's a mental illness? So first thing, way too many people struggle to understand what mental illnesses are all about.
What is mental illness? Mental illness includes a wide range of disorders of thinking, emotion, and/or behavior. There are many different types of mental illness, and it can be short-lived or long-term.
As you see, a mental disorder, also called a mental illness or psychiatric disorder, is a behavioral or mental pattern that causes significant distress or impairment of personal functioning. These impairments may be persistent, relapsing, and remitting, or occur as a single episode. Many disorders have been described with signs and symptoms that vary widely between specific conditions. While the causes of mental disorders are often unclear, we know that they may be associated with particular regions or functions of the brain. Now let's break down developmental disabilities. What's a developmental disability? To start, a developmental disability is a diverse group of chronic conditions due to mental or physical impairments that arise before adulthood. In the words of a doctor, it's something like,
developmental disabilities is a term that covers any delay that happens in typical development during the lifespan.
Moving on. Developmental disabilities cause some difficulties in certain areas of life, especially in language, mobility, learning, self-help, and independent living. So that's that explanation. Developmental disabilities can be detected early on and persist throughout an individual's lifespan. We'll talk about why this is important soon. Now, we'll spot 3 surprising differences between the topics of the day. Difference 1. Okay, by now, and if you paid close attention, of course, you understand that a mental illness is a mental pattern that causes significant distress, and a developmental disability, on the other hand, is a group of chronic conditions that arise before adulthood. Well, that's difference number 1. However,
well, 2 separate things, but can a person be affected by both, or is it one or the other, and the twain shall never meet sort of thing?
The twain often meet.
Okay.
And so you can have a developmental disability. Let's say you have a language delay. That language delay might include trouble expressing yourself well, especially in social situations.
On the other hand, a developmental disability may be an obstacle to learning. In contrast, a mental illness does not directly impact cognitive abilities, but instead changes an individual's perceptions and thought processes. That's difference number 2. Any confusion there? Let's illustrate this point with an example. A person with a developmental disability, but no mental illness, will typically not have hallucinations or maybe hear voices. Just as an individual with depression may lose motivation to engage in situations, but will not lose the cognitive ability to understand those situations. Difference 3. And now the final differentiator. Developmental disorders are diagnosed when a patient is younger than 18 years of age. Mental illnesses, on the other hand, can affect people of any age. And that's difference number 3. Now that you know the 3 main differences between developmental disabilities and mental illnesses, don't forget that our doors are always open for result-driven professionals wanting to lend a hand. Maybe that's you. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Remember, First Choice Family Services is your information resource for the DSP industry. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to stay connected.